The AMG One, every, I think, few years, 4 or 5 years, or maybe 31,000 miles, the engine needs a full rebuild. It's going to cost £850,000.
No.
Yes.
Could this be the end of Maserati?
They don't have a place in the supercar world. They're making diesel 4x4s. What supercar brand's making diesels? Makes zero sense. I just think they've lost their persona.
Big piece of news has been about the speed limiters that are due to be implemented into cars in the UK.
If it's anything like the ULEZ cameras, especially around here, they're not going to stay up that long, are they?
They don't stay up for long.
Man, I have to applaud their consistency. It's like as soon as a new camera goes up,
That's straight
bang,
down.
Second, they're spray painting it and it comes down like wow.
I did.
I'm the water connoisseur, right?
It's just water, mate.
It's good, right?
Yeah, it's lovely.
See? All right, good. Ready?
The mic check.
Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the GVE London Podcast. And today I'm joined by the lovely George and Andreas.
It's the second time you've introduced me as the lovely George.
Obviously, because you're lovely, mate. Okay, fine. So today's episode is about the general state of the market and just cool stuff that we've been seeing happening in the market lately, right?
Yeah.
And a big piece of news has been about the speed limiters that are due to be implemented into cars in the UK. Now, I know it's an EU thing, which then UK have said, actually, we'll jump on the bandwagon as well, and we'll start getting it implemented down here. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think with us specialising in supercars and just cars that drive very fast naturally,
Yeah.
is this going to really affect us? I think it's safe. It's a matter of safety. You don't really want people speeding and driving ridiculously on public roads. But then again, these cars, you get into them not to drive super quick, not to drive 100 or 200 miles an hour. You get in them to get that acceleration, that thrill from 0 to 60. So I think it shouldn't really affect us much. And I think the positive side of it, by creating more safety on the road, is a bonus point. But negatives come into play as well. Like sometimes you have to put your foot down to speed to get and avoid an accident.
But I think, so from what I'm reading, there's advisory, supportive, or intervening, right? Now, advisory will be where it says the speed limit is 40 and you're going 50, slow down, right?
But these cars have that.
They have it already.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing now will be, it'll be mandatory because not all cars have it. You see what I'm saying? That some of the latest cars where you've spent a lot of money on them have that. But I think, let's say the latest Corsa might not have it. So it will now be
a standard thing.
Be a law that you have to have it.
I was under the impression that, these speed limiters mean, like, if you're going on a 70 road, it won't let you drive above 70 miles an hour.
Well, I think that's where the intervening
Yes.
one
That's the
will
second
come
one
in.
is, yeah.
So if it's intervening, that's a big thing.
That
right?
is dangerous.
But then you can, if you put your foot down, you can go above the speed limit.
Yeah.
So it will allow you still to go above it, but then obviously you're breaking the law as such. So I think
So,
it holds you at 70 miles an hour, but then you can put your foot
So
down.
now that definitely works in the sense that, if you have an accident, right? Or, if you have an accident, cause an accident, whatever, then they can go back into your data and they can see, well, you were warned that it was 40 and you went at 60.
Yeah.
So now you're screwed, basically, right?
This has been happening for ages with black boxes.
Has
People
it?
have to get black
Yeah,
boxes
insurance.
put in for insurance.
So both insurance and the law
Yeah.
will be able to now categorically say you were going fast, right?
Yeah, 100%. Do you know the funny thing on this as well is that this is going to be ECU related, right?
Yeah.
These limiters are going to be ECU related. What's the first thing people are going to do when they buy a car? They'll take it to a specialist, get it mapped, get it taken out, and it's just be non-existent.
100%.
Let's see what this even does to the industry, if it's going to work or not.
If it's anything like the ULEZ cameras, especially around here, they're not going to stay up that long, are they?
They don't stay up for long
I really have to give it to them. I don't condone this at all, but man, I have to applaud their consistency. It's like as soon as a new camera goes up,
straight
bang,
down.
in a second they're spray painting it and it comes down. I'm like, wow. If they put that much effort into their career,
Getting a job.
or getting a job, they probably wouldn't have to worry about you, Les.
But to be fair, if they do have the jobs, the problem is that these are guys that are, you know, self-employed. You know, they can't afford the latest bloody Ranger or something like that to carry out their work that they're doing. And then they're getting screwed again. Do you know what I'm saying? It is a bit of a farce, and I do agree. You know, it's unfair that people that don't have enough money are being forced to do this, cutting down the disposable income. And but yeah,
it is unfair, but
I don't agree with that.
Surely they're spending £12.50 on spray paint every day by just painting up the
painting
cameras.
it, smashing it, doing whatever. The problem is that by paying taxes, we're paying for the new one to go up.
That's the most annoying thing when you drive past it, thinking you get taxed so much on your income, and it goes towards putting new ULEZ cameras up.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah. But maybe the consistency might lead to a change, you know? You never know. Just keep on
You see the government giving in?
Man, I don't know. If enough people make a noise, then I definitely do. Where I don't see anybody giving in is these bloody Just Stop Oil.
Yeah, they've started arresting people now.
Have you seen them at Heathrow?
I know.
He's spraying stuff at Heathrow now. And Gatwick, they've been stopping people from going through to the gates.
No.
And I saw this morning, they were just spraying all the terminals.
There was this viral video from a year or 2 years ago. I think it was on somewhere in East London, but the protesters stopped an ambulance from going through.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. That person's now been jailed for 3 years.
That's good.
And it's like, finally, you get some justice for what's happened. I don't see anything that they're doing helping towards a cause. Makes zero sense.
Stopping people from going on holiday.
Yeah. How do you benefit from that?
Exactly. People that have been saving the whole year and then they've missed their bloody flight because of it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway, so, yeah, that's quite scary stuff with the speed limiters, but I just wonder if it will definitely go ahead and how intrusive they are going to be. But hopefully it's not that bad.
I think there's a lot for them to trial and error before it comes in. We're probably realistically a good 10 years away before something like that
because
happens.
what they also have to distinguish between is this Ferrari, what if that guy has a private estate, right?
Yeah.
And the private estate is acres and he wants to drive the hell out of it. Then
When
there's no limits there.
They'll base it on GPS then. Because like, you know how when you're driving and then your GPS monitor, even if your sat nav's not on, it will say speed limit on this road is this. If you're on private land, they won't have any speed limits.
It won't have any. There you go.
So maybe it'll work like that.
GPS will tell it wherever you are, that is the speed limit. And then the other one, obviously, is jumping onto a track, right?
Yeah.
And so you can go as fast as you want on a track. So I need to know. So what I think won't be the case, I think what you're saying is right, that on certain roads, it will be restricted, but then, you know, if you really want to put it fast, it's not restricted in that sense. It's not like you just can't go more than 70 miles per hour in your car. You can, but it has to be in the right areas.
What about another scenario? Like you see people go around London and they're trying to smash your windows to steal your watch. And then sometimes you just have to put your foot down to get away from it, just drive away. How can they stop someone from having the ability to speed on a certain road for their own safety? Like, okay, yes, you're causing risk to other people on the road by driving quick, but you're guaranteeing to either get robbed or get your car damaged by not driving quick enough with someone coming on a moped and smashing your window.
Yeah, I just don't think there's going to be
I think there's a definitely way you can intervene. I think you can definitely override it. It's just you're going to be at your own risk to... It's
pointless then.
To cop a fine, you know.
That's what I mean, that's one side of it. Imagine when they start coming out with self-driving cars.
That's what they should do. I think that is a massive market. So that's in play in America, right? In the States, it's in play. You're allowed to have self-driving cars.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't brought it in over here. So self-driving meaning...
So Tesla messed up a few times and somebody died and this, that and the other. And then, but I didn't realize, have they actually let it happen now?
Can't hold me to this 100%, but I'm sure I've seen people having self-driving cars. I think the way it works is they put it in the sat-nav. You have to at least touch your hand on the steering wheel a couple of times to make sure that you're still in charge of the car, you're not sleeping. Yeah. It will approach roundabouts, it will slow down, it will know which exit to take, but it just monitors everything. Man. Now that is what they need to focus on. Stop worrying about speed limiters and like this is efficiency to try and drive the whole world forward.
Man, that would be amazing one day.
I love driving though. I don't want to self-driving cars.
Driving's great. It's great. Like, everyone loves to drive. Well, us car enthusiasts love to drive, but for efficiency, you don't want to drive every single time. You've gone out, you've had a 100 or 200 mile drive, and you just want to sit down now and just let it drive you back while you do some work or you check your emails, or whatever.
Cool. He's thinking more about Mayfair.
That's exactly what I was saying. George is thinking about Mayfair.
He's definitely thinking about...
George, they're hard now. They're called taxis.
Imagine how many people stop from drink and driving.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I think they need to focus on that. Use your resources correctly.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic. Could this be the end of Maserati? The group that owns them, Stellantis. Okay. The group that owns them, Stellantis. Yeah, it was a Greek name.
It is actually.
They have said that they're axing any of their portfolio brands, which includes the like of Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Jeep, and Vauxhall, that aren't making profit, right? And these guys, Maserati, only managed to sell 6,500 units last year, which then amounted to a £69 million loss.
£69 million. In how long was that? That loss was over a 1 year period.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. That's £69 million loss so far in 2024.
And half a year.
Based on that, you're probably thinking that they're going to go up to like 110 million loss by the end of the year. And that's for a brand that's been around since 1914, I think I read.
But they have changed hands a lot, though.
A lot.
Like, a lot. So they were owned by Ferrari at one stage.
Yeah.
Fiat owned them once. Like, they had gone through a lot of ownership. So it's not, like, say, uncommon for Maserati to lose money and go bankrupt and to, so I think the problem is they've only just got their one good model, which is the MC20, which is, again, you can get big discounts off them already. The Levante, all those other models, they're just not really hitting the mark on them, I think they're nice, but...
Maserati's always had that association of being the budget Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
You said it a lot more politically correct than what I was thinking.
I don't want to say that the way.
Poor man's Ferrari.
Yeah. Because...
But it's true though. So do you know, this is an interesting fact. The Ferrari California was initially designed to be a Maserati, but when it was made, it was too expensive to be a Ferrari. So they had to, it was too expensive to be a Maserati, so they had to turn it into a Ferrari.
I never knew that.
And then you speak to your typical Ferrari owner and they say a California is not a real Ferrari. So listen, anything that makes people happy to drive is a great car. But for me personally, I'm not a fan of Maserati.
Really?
I don't think they don't have a place in the supercar world.
No, I'd say that's a little bit... That's controversial.
Okay, you mentioned...
That MC Stradale.
The Maserati Gran Turismo MC Stradale.
Yeah.
A great car, great sounding car.
Yeah.
But I'd take a E63 over that.
I think that's...
of that gen, though, I'm saying.
Yeah, so,
back then.
okay, so 2010.
Yeah.
Between 2010 to 2015, you've got the MC Stradale, which would have set you back the best part of 100,000, 80,000. Now, for that sort of money, you could probably go and get yourself a DBS. You could have got yourself a Ferrari FF.
No.
Not
Ferrari
brand new.
FF back then, no, it would have been a lot more than that.
Not brand new, but used. So you'd also save yourself in depreciation because the Maserati, you'd lost 50% in that time, whereas the Ferrari FF, you would have lost only 20%.
I think there's a lot of brands you need to say no to before getting to a Maserati. I mean, there's so many other good brands that,
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
problem.
I would have probably gone for like a Porsche Turbo S.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The funny thing is, I feel like they've gone downhill because 10 years ago, we were doing really well with Maseratis.
Yeah.
We used to do quite well with Gran Turismos, MC Stradales, the convertible version they did as well. The Centennial edition they did. They were actually some really nice cars. They sounded crazy.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, they're just dropped off the cliff. The
Back
MC20s.
then, the engine was the same as the like F430 and stuff like that, right? They shared the same engine, didn't they?
I don't know if they shared the same engine, but they would have the same components.
Stradale... All right, maybe that's my mistake, but...
It could be. I'm not entirely sure on that. I know the gearbox was shared at one stage.
When Ferrari owned Maserati, I believe they shared a lot of the same kind of components, and there was models that shared the same engine.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not the case anymore, right?
Yeah.
You look at a Maserati right now, and just like you're saying, it doesn't give you that feeling of that's a supercar, right?
They're making diesel 4x4s. What supercar brand's making diesels? Makes zero sense. I just think they've lost their persona. They were meant to be a supercar brand.
Yeah.
And now they don't know where to go. They don't know what direction to head. And are they making everyday cars by Levantes, or are they making special one-off cars in the MC20s?
That MC20 looks beautiful though.
It does, but you would not give a crap about the looks if you bought one brand new.
Really? How much?
You lost probably about 60, 70,000 pounds over a couple of hundred miles.
No.
Easy.
Okay, so what was the list on them? Do you know roughly?
220, 230 list. And you could probably pick them up for about 170, 160.
No.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's one for the future though? Like you buy that, and I mean, especially if it goes bust, then that would be the last, flagship Maserati ever made.
Probably won't help.
And this is a heritage brand, by the way, remember?
Yeah.
1914, has a lot of provenance, They've got a lot of classic
I
cars.
think because it had such a bad stigma attached to behind the model, like people weren't so keen on it. I think that's probably going to work against it. But there is one Maserati that I think will forever live in people's collections.
Yeah.
It's the MC12. Now that is one car that has just continuously gone up in value.
That's timeless look as well, isn't it?
I mean,
Right?
that is, in comparison, directly rivaling the Ferrari Enzo, albeit not as valuable as the Enzo, but it's seen to be sat on a pedestal up there with that Ferrari Hypercar. So that's probably one for the future. I mean, it's such a rare car with under 100 of them actually being built worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. I remember reading that it's got the same engine as the Enzo, right?
Yeah, I think it's built on the same chassis as well.
Same chassis, same engine. I think they just tuned it a little bit differently, but
developed by Michael Schumacher.
No way.
Yep.
He had an input on it.
Definitely. Yep. Absolutely. He did the 430 Scuderia, and then he also did the MC and the Enzo.
Bloody hell.
He was testing around the Fiorano track, so
That's so cool.
he's done his stamp of approval on it to make sure.
They must be worth so much money now, eh?
Yeah.
Definitely into the millions. They were approaching about $1 million a couple of years ago when you find them on the open market, but so hard to find now. I'm sure they're going for millions.
Now, guys, before we go on, I'd like to take a moment to tell you that today's sponsor is Howden's Insurance Group. I can't stress how important it is for a business owner to have the right insurance broker alongside them. Especially a business owner that is in the motor trade industry. Especially with the increase in crime in the UK, it's never been more important to choose the right insurance broker. And I personally believe that Howdens have been absolutely excellent. Howdens don't only cover car insurance, they actually cover many different insurance products across different sectors. They've been running for around 30 years and very well respected in the industry. We get customers from all walks of life here at GVE, and there could be a customer that needs to get one car insured, or sometimes there's customers that have car collections of 10, 20, 30 cars, and we have no hesitation in putting them forward. So guys, if you find yourself in need of some insurance, check out the link in the description below, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. Well, on to more newer hypercars. I was reading an article about the 10 top hypercars over the last few years, and I think it was an autocar or something like that. But the top one of the top ones was Valkyrie.
Yep.
Aston Martin.
I mean, that's pretty much a Formula One car for the road.
Really?
That is an insane car.
There's some crazy people that own it, eh? Max Verstappen, David Coulthard, Adrian Newey.
Yeah, you just named pretty much F1 royalty there.
Yeah.
Anyone in F1 would probably want the Valkyrie because it is as close to an F1 car you can get for road legal.
Well, you say that, but then I think the AMG one's probably a little bit closer.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I think because that actually is the 2016 Mercedes Formula One car for the road. Like, that's more Formula One style. I think Nico Rosberg just picked one up, right? And I read the other day that he turned the vehicle off when it wasn't at its optimum level, and it risked, like, there was a big problem with the car. So that's how sort of temperamental this car is. It needs to be warmed up to a certain temperature before you can even switch it off. So it is that complicated. But also, one of my customers has got one coming in. Whatever the list was, 2.4 million, whatever it was. He was then told, after he's taken the deposit, that every, I think, few years, 4 or 5 years, or maybe 31,000 miles, the engine needs a full rebuild. It's going to cost £850,000.
No.
Yes.
The engine?
The engine needs a full rebuild.
Why is that?
Because of just, if that's just what I mean, it's just a Formula One car for the road. I mean, the way Mercedes-Benz have done it, you know, to transform something that, you know, a team of Formula One team, 20 people, mechanics, run a Formula One car, you know, they have to make that into someone they can just push a stop-start button and drive on the road. Yeah. That was such an incredible hard task. But how complicated that was, and then to make it into a road car, there's so much going into that, you know.
I do wonder sometimes, right, that you're making this beautiful work of art, but then also something that has the same power as an F1 car. And then you're driving at 15 miles an hour in Monaco from one shop to another shop. It's like, of course, something's about to go wrong, right? Yeah. Surely, because these cars aren't designed to drive at coasting speeds, right?
But then again, you can't look super cool driving an F1 car legally in Monaco. You can do that in a Project One, or you can do that in a Valkyrie.
So it's all about the looks. Yeah.
Which then brings me back to the point that the Valkyrie is a much better looking car than the Project One, in my opinion. I know it's a matter of opinion.
I'd say that the Valkyrie looks like a spaceship.
Yeah. It does.
I think they're a bit conservative with the AMG ones styling. They could have gone a little bit more crazy. But you're right. I think the Valkyrie and the rear, like the diffuser, you can sort of see through it. You know, it looks really, really good.
So the Valkyrie, what kind of money is that going for now?
And
how much was the list?
About 2.3 before options.
And do you guys know what they're kind of going at?
Well, I know the last time on the open market, there was one that was up for sale for 3.5, got offered to us for 3.3. Since then, it's been offline.
But I don't think these things are going to come on the open market very regularly, right?
See, I thought that originally, but then I'd seen a couple of these advertised, and then I was thinking, surely that's way too soon for people to be flipping their cars. One person just said he wasn't able to use it much, and it was too much money, a lot of money to maintain. And then recently, just seen quite a cool picture actually of 3 Valkyries parked alongside each other at Joe Macari's.
Oh wow!
That was pretty cool. And I'm whether it's storage or whether they're for sale will be an interesting one to see.
Yeah. Nobody would actually say that they're for sale, right? There's only 150 made in the world.
Yeah. You're not allowed to say you're selling yours. So
yeah, exactly.
Saying you're storing it is a very clever way of trying to sell discreetly.
And there's another company that's nearly gone bust a few times, right? Aston Martin.
Yep. They've gone through ownerships. Ford owned them at one time. Yeah. And now Lawrence Stroll owns Aston Martin. I think, he's doing okay. Obviously, he's worth a lot of money, so he's pumping a lot of money into it. But
I remember when Ford owned it, because we used to get the keys used to look exactly like the Mondeo key or whatever. Do you remember?
Yep.
Yeah,
so even the Vanquish, we just brought into stock. We got a low mileage Vanquish. It's got the same, all the Ford interior, and even Volvo sat nav systems and stuff. Yeah, it's.
So then, what about the SF90XX Stradale?
Now, okay, when it comes to supercars, and I think I've mentioned this before as well, out of all the cars we've had, we've pretty much driven everything there is. Yeah. The SF90 is the one car that really gives me a kick.
Really?
And makes you think that this is some serious power. I remember there's a customer who said, okay, we drive it to Bisto, took his car, and we're on the M40, probably in gear 4 or gear 5, doing 70 or 80 miles an hour, and just put my foot down a bit, and it's sort of side to side at 80 miles an hour. No other car does that. Now, I'm thinking 1,001 brake horsepower on an SF90, how can you make that even better? In comes the XX. That has to be the most anticipated car.
Well, did you see the SF90 versus the Revuelto?
SF90 is quicker.
And SF91.
Oh, wow.
That's expected.
Just a normal SF90. Wow.
That was expected. Lamborghini don't make the fastest cars.
Surely the Revuelto would have gone quicker.
A very heavy V12 engine in comparison to a V8.
I would have thought it would have been. I would have I'll put my money on the Revuelto. Yeah. I would have thought that would have been quicker, but
don't challenge Ferrari.
No, absolutely, Ferrari good.
Yeah, but this SF90XX, they're making like 799 coupes and 599 convertibles.
Yep,
it's a lot of cars, though.
A lot of cars, but I think the market's expanding for people who can afford these. So now you've got a lot of money who's coming in from crypto, a lot of money coming in from just worldwide people who are now suddenly open to the supercar market. And this is now recognised with us being used car dealers. We're getting people who are ready to pay up to £500,000 over list for a slot for an SF90XX.
Are you joking?
No, seriously.
What, as in that's the premium that they're willing to pay?
They're paying £500,000 overs.
Oh,
so it's not unheard of. That those sort of overs are happening on the 812 comps and so on. But now it's being passed on to the SF90XX, which...
I mean, the list I think, is going to be around £750,000,
Yeah.
right? And that's for a coupe, and then say about £800,000 for a Spider.
Yeah. So the aim is about 1.5 mil people are trying to get for the SF90XX.
Oh my God.
And that's the slots. There's a couple actually in rotation. There's a few coupes out already.
Wow. But that's crazy to get those kind of overs on something that isn't so limited. So 800 and 600 cars in the grand scheme of things is not so limited, right?
It's the latest thing.
At that money.
Yeah.
No?
It's the latest thing that's coming out. People want what others don't have, and they want it straight away. They don't want to wait 2 years for this order to come or have to buy and get it cheaper through other slots. They'll want it something that's physically there, ready, available, be the first person to drive through London in it and be recognised as the first owner of an SF90XX. To them, that's worth £500,000 over list.
That is. And I mean, the big question is, will it still maintain that value and go up?
No.
Because this isn't a LaFerrari, right?
Yeah.
No.
It's definitely due for a drop. We saw it with the comps.
Yeah.
The comps were going for 2 mil and they've dropped now to about 1 mil. So, yeah, it will definitely come off the ball.
2 mil. They were going
As soon as the 812 comps came out, about 1.7, 1.8 was what they were achieving.
Yeah.
And now you look on the open market, they're going for about 1 mil. We bought a comp for under 1 mil. So
What? Whoever bought at the top,
I don't think they'd care about the loss.
yeah, they probably got too much money.
Yeah.
Red Bull RB17.
That's exciting.
That looks cooler.
That's exciting.
That's Adrian Newey as well, right?
That's
That's
Adrian
full
Newey's baby.
Adrian Newey.
That's
So
full.
that's-
so the Valkyrie was Adrian Newey as well, but
Yes.
as in he had the involvement.
Input, but this is 100% Adrian Newey. Now this is where the RB17 is very interesting, because Adrian Newey is obviously a chief designer for Formula One for Red Bull, but with Formula One, there's a lot of restrictions, a lot of regulations, a lot of you need to do this in order to design a car. With that RB17, that's free reign, Adrian Newey. And he says that RB17, compared to the current Formula One cars, that will sit comfortably on pole at Silverstone.
No.
That's how quick that thing is.
Oh my God.
So if you we are underestimating how fast that RB17 is.
But it's got the price tag to accompany it,
$6
right?
million.
$6 million.
Yeah.
6 million, yeah.
Yeah, which is £5 million. That is nuts.
I mean, that's expected. This has actually been around for a few years, though, because there's a good client of ours who wouldn't want his name mentioned because we do all of his deals off market, massive collector, who mentioned this to me about 4 or 5 months ago, let's say 4 months ago, that he is taking delivery of an RB17.
No way.
And he said Adrian Newey personally reached out to him and said, this has been his baby, his creation that he's been developing for the past 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So now to see it actually come to fruition and come to life is
nuts, huh?
Can't
but
wait
only
to see
50 units.
That's it.
Only 50 units being made. Talk about something that's just going to go nuts in value.
That is, yeah. The thing is, we were actually having this discussion earlier. Now, you've got that, or you've got the Project One or the Valkyrie. What would you put your money into? My reasoning behind this, I wouldn't go for the RB17.
Yeah.
Because where's the heritage? Where's the provenance? It's all based on this one man, Adrian Newey, and Red Bull Formula One team. They've got no heritage or provenance of creating road-going cars. It's all F1. It's all F1 based. Now they've just created their first car.
But that's the reason to go for it.
That I would say.
That's the reason to go for it, because Adrian, that's for the exact reasons what you said.
But Adrian Newey's now no longer with Red Bull.
Yeah, but he's been designing Formula One cars for years, and his track record
the
of success.
big thing with him was what happened with Senna, right?
Yeah.
So he was involved in designing the car that Senna drove when he died, and so he had a charge against him for manslaughter.
No way.
Yeah. And then later on got acquitted, so absolutely fine. But yeah, that's what he's been through.
Wow.
In the past.
I never realised that.
And yeah, I mean, to go from there to here is nuts, right?
See, the thing is, though, okay, Adrian Newey, yes, he's made this car, but it won't be based on Adrian Newey, the RB17. It'll be based on Red Bull. It's a Red Bull car, essentially. It's the RB17. Whatever they make after that is not going to have Adrian Newey's design. So where is the provenance of Red Bull over here? Adrian Newey is now going to go off potentially to Ferrari or wherever else, and he may potentially build a car for them. So do I see the RB17 being a massive collector's item in the next 10 or 20 years? If I was to bet a bet on it, I'd say no.
Really?
Yeah.
So I think
who's
of like
maintaining it? Who's servicing it? Who's
I think of it like the LFA. it's a one-off kind of. There's only 500 of them. They're going to triple in value.
Can't compare
The
it.
RB17, I think.
Why don't we do this, right? So of those 4 hypercars that we just discussed, put them in order. What would you have? If money wasn't an object, which one, in what order would you put them?
RB17 1.
Yeah.
Project One 2. Valkyrie 3. SF90XX 4.
Okay, go on.
Aston Martin Valkyrie, Project One, RB17, SF90XX.
I go for the RB17 as 1. I go for the Valkyrie as 2. And the Mercedes as 3, because the Mercedes, I just can't be arsed with getting it to the right temperature before I switch it off and stuff. That would drive me crazy. I don't give a shit.
I will happily drive my AMG One to the
yeah.
right temperature before switching it off.
They were doing a handover video with Nico Rosberg, and they said to him, "So don't turn it on yet. You have to wait. Your screen shows you when your catalytic converters are warmed up enough, and then you turn it on."
See,
And he just sat there. He looked pissed off already. He was
Yeah.
What?
I love that. It's so dramatic. It's so German. I love
Yeah,
that.
but what's wrong with what the i7 has now, which is that on your app you can put your climate control on before you're walking up to your car, so it's beautifully the right temperature. Come on, man, that's the life, right?
I'm pretty sure you can install something into a Project One to start it while you're not sat in there. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool.
And then, by the way, both of you chose RB17s. In 5 years' time, if you own your RB17s, I'd love to hear about your repair bills. Who's looking after it for you? Who's doing maintenance?
Actually, that is a huge one, right?
So,
I mean,
good luck.
I'd love to hear about your bloody Mercedes repair bill, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I'm gonna change my order. My Mercedes is going right at the bottom. I'm not paying £850,000. I don't care how much
But for
money
the
I
6
got.
million, you get some mechanics as well. Yeah, that come with you. That's a joke.
You
by the
get-
way.
You buy the person, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Wow.
You get 6 mechanics that come and look after for you.
All right. So I hope you liked today's episode. And if you did, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, see you later.